Penelope, are you hiding something from me? Excuse me? What's this about all of a sudden? Tomorrow's the big day, your wedding, right? But before that, I thought I'd make sure you aren't keeping any secrets. I mean, I'm not hiding anything in particular. Oh, really? Yes, once I marry Nathan, you'll be my family too, and I would never keep secrets from my family. Actually, if there's something about me that's bothering you, I'd really appreciate it if you could just say it directly. I promise I'll answer honestly. It's nothing. Don't worry about it. Just make sure to get some rest tonight so you're ready for tomorrow. Oh, all right. Penelope, where are you right now? I just arrived at the wedding venue a moment ago. Oh, I see. Actually, I'm already inside the venue. Wait, Eliana, you're already here? I came early since I'm the bride, but there's still plenty of time before the ceremony. Why are you here so early? To make sure a liar doesn't step foot in the venue. Huh? A liar? Yes, Penelope, I'm talking about you. Excuse me? Penelope, you've been hiding something from us, haven't you? Hiding something? Like I said yesterday, I'm not hiding anything. It's about your mother. My mother? Did you really think you could hide something shameful just because it's about your own mother? What a truly despicable woman. But let me tell you, I'm well connected in this community. I know all the gossip around town. Wait, hold on. What are you even talking about? I'm not hiding anything shameful. I honestly have no idea what you're accusing me of. Oh, still trying to play innocent, huh? Fine, I'll just say it. A bride whose mother is homeless? Absolutely unacceptable. I bet your mother's been freeloading off of you her whole life. What? No, that doesn't even make sense. What are you talking about? The other day, after the senior gathering our neighborhood association hosted, we had a little chat over tea. And during that chat, the wife of one of the shop owners in town told us something. She brought up that there was an event supporting the homeless close to the station recently, and your mother was there. I was shocked when I heard that. I already knew you weren't rich, but to think your mother was homeless? My mother is not homeless. She's involved in supporting homeless people. Oh, so she's part of the staff, is she? That's right. The shop owner's wife should have realized it right away. It's deeply upsetting that my mother would be mistaken for being homeless. For starters, she has a proper home and a steady income. There's no need to lie about it. Homeless people are just the bottom of society. Nothing but a burden. Helping people like that is pointless. Your mother's probably helping them because she's been in their shoes, right? Birds of a feather and all that. People who've been homeless can never really succeed. That's just a baseless assumption. I can't accept that. Whether you accept it or not isn't your choice, it's ours. And I don't accept you. A family with a homeless mother is nothing but a disgrace. If you don't cut ties with her immediately, the wedding is off. You won't even be allowed into the venue. What? My mother is probably on her way to the wedding venue by now. She's been so excited for this wedding. Unbelievable! There's no way a homeless woman is stepping into a sacred venue like this. Listen, call your mother right now and tell her you're cutting her off. That's completely unreasonable. Penelope, today's the big day, your wedding. I'm getting nervous just thinking about it. You're already at the venue, right? I'll be there soon. I can't wait to see you in your wedding dress. Mom, I'm sorry. Looks like I won't get the chance to show you me in a wedding dress. What? What do you mean? I don't know what to do. Something terrible has happened. What's going on? Aren't you in the middle of getting ready? Well, I got kicked out of the venue. Kicked out? Eliana showed up early and out of nowhere declared that she's not on board with the wedding. What? Why would she say that? Didn't she already give her a blessing when you visited her before the wedding? It's hard to explain, but she doesn't like the fact that you're helping the homeless. And for some reason, she's also calling you homeless. She's insisting I cut ties with you or she won't let the wedding happen. What? After that, when I tried to talk to her directly, she pushed me away and had me thrown out of the venue. I can't believe something like this is happening on my wedding day. What should I do? Even if I manage to get married, I don't want to be with someone whose mother says such horrible things about you. But Nathan and his father are genuinely good people. Wait a minute. Does Eliana even know about that story? You mean the one you told me before? Yeah. I couldn't tell her during the wedding introduction visit because I had an emergency at work and couldn't make it. But it seems like Nathan's father hasn't mentioned it either. If they knew, she wouldn't be acting like this. Penelope, do you truly want to marry Nathan? Yes, I do want to marry him. I think I'll talk to him about her. He's probably in another room getting ready, so I'll ask him to step out for a moment. Good idea. It's better to talk in person than over WhatsApp since it'll be easier to explain everything. Tell him to bring his father with him when he comes. I'll head over there too. All right, I'm sorry. I've been so overwhelmed by everything. Of course, you're overwhelmed. Anyone would be after hearing all this. I won't let anyone hurt my daughter like this. Eliana is going to need to reflect on her actions. Eliana, there's something I'd like to talk to you about. Oh, Naomi, what is it? Did you call because you're hungry? What do you mean by that? Well, you're homeless, aren't you? Poor thing. You must be starving if you haven't eaten anything since this morning. But don't rely on me, okay? Being homeless is your own fault. It's the result of your lack of effort. Whatever. Didn't Penelope tell you that I'm not homeless? She mentioned something about support activities, but it sounds pretty fake to me. Maybe it's different now, but you were homeless at some point, right? That still makes you the bottom of society. For your information, I've never been homeless, and kicking the bride out of her own wedding venue on the wedding day is absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous? Coming from someone who hid things and tried to worm their way into a wealthy family, that's rich. You used your daughter to freeload off my well-off family, didn't you? When I realized your disgusting little plan, the wedding day became irrelevant. If anything, you've ruined my son's big day. I should be charging you damages. What you were saying is absolutely absurd. It must be such a shame your plan got exposed before the wedding. I'm pretty connected around here, so I hear all the gossip right away. You can't hide anything from me. I don't know where you are now, but if you're hungry, why don't you dig through a trash can nearby? Actually, I'm with Nathan and your husband right now. I explained the situation and told them what kind of person I really am. Your husband started trembling like a leaf. What? No, that makes no sense. Anyway, can you join us here? We're at a cafe near the venue. It's the one with the red roof. You know the one, right? No way! Why should I follow orders from someone like you, a homeless person? Well, I'll have your husband call you to make sure you show up. This makes no sense. Homeless people must just be stupid. I mean, they probably don't have much education, and they just live in their own convenient little fantasies, don't they? Well, once you get here, you'll understand. In a way you won't forget. Penelope! You're the bride! Get back to the venue now!
What are you talking about? You're the one who kicked me out.
Just come back right now. I didn't hear anything about this.
I think my family is doomed. That's what your husband said, right?
What? No, I didn't know about that.
Well, considering your personality, I guess it was probably hard for him to bring it up. The fact that when your husband was 27, he failed at starting a business and ended up homeless, and that he was helped by a homeless support organization. It seems like he didn't even remember that the person who helped him back then was my mother. At least, not until we told him. Well, it was a long time ago, and her last name has changed, so it makes sense he didn't realize it.
Think about it. There's no way I can believe my husband was homeless. He's the CEO of a construction company now, and we're wealthy. There's no way a homeless person could become that successful.
But it actually happened. He started his construction company years ago. It seems things were going well at first, but then the recession hit, and his contracts dried up. The company's performance plummeted, and eventually, the bank cut off their loans, forcing him to declare bankruptcy.
Bankruptcy? He's never told me anything about that.
After the bankruptcy, he was left with debt and had to file for personal bankruptcy. He lost his house, his savings, and everything else, ending up literally out on the street. At first, he tried to fix things, begging acquaintances for help, looking for part-time work, but no one would hire him. Eventually, he had no choice but to live as a homeless man, sleeping on park benches or at the train station.
You've got to be joking! I can't believe he actually went through something like that.
But with the support of the nonprofit organization my mother works with, he gradually got back on his feet. Through their help, he received training in life skills and support for finding a new job, which helped him regain hope.
Support? You mean he was just given handouts?
Not at all. The organization focuses on providing thorough support to help people become self-reliant. As part of that support, my mother used her connections in the construction industry to introduce him to the person who is now the CEO of his construction company. That person had also faced hardships in the past and could relate to your husband's situation. He even proposed starting a business together.
And that's how he succeeded?
Yes. The two of them started small, taking on minor construction jobs and gradually building trust and a reputation. Their dedication to improving worker conditions and doing honest work gained them a lot of positive attention, and eventually, they were able to take on larger projects. As a result, the company grew into a major construction firm, and your husband became a successful CEO.
Are you sure this isn't someone else's story? This has to be a joke.
No, it's your husband's story. 35 years ago, to be exact.
But he's a CEO. A homeless person becoming a CEO? That's just some loser's fantasy. There's no way my husband could have been someone like that.
Why not just ask him to break it down for you again? I've heard so many stories from my mother about the people they've helped. Each person faced different challenges, chose their own routes, and is now living a brand new life. It's true your husband must have put in extraordinary effort to get where he is. My mother said that someone who became a CEO left a lasting impression on her because it's such a rare achievement.
If that's the case, then why didn't he just tell me from the start? I would have been much more welcoming. I know my husband is a loyal and honorable man. If he just said something, it would have been fine.
But he didn't tell you. Isn't that fact enough of an answer?
What are you saying? Are you trying to blame me?
Once I calmed down and thought it through, I started to understand you better, Eliana. You're someone who jumps to conclusions based on your own prejudices. Even when I told you otherwise, you overreacted to the word homeless, discriminated against my mother, and went as far as to throw me out of the wedding venue. So, what would happen if your husband had told you outright that he used to be homeless? He's been with you long enough to sense the risk of how you'd react, which is why he kept it to himself.
Well, but my husband is different, and I'm willing to listen to him. So just come back. We need to talk this through.
No, I've already changed into my regular clothes and am on my way home.
You're returning home? What about the wedding? The guests will be arriving soon. You need to get back here now. If you hurry, you can still make it.
I spoke with Nathan, and we've already contacted the guests to let them know the wedding has been canceled.
What? How could it come to this?
Eliana, when I came to talk to you, you pushed me, didn't you? At first, I didn't think much of it, but later, I felt pain and it started swelling.
What? I thought you just fell. Are you saying... Did you break a bone?
I think it's just a sprain, but I can't leave it untreated. My mother is taking me to the hospital right now.
What? But after you get checked, can't you come back?
I don't think so. That's why we decided to cancel the wedding. Including this incident, isn't that why your husband said, "I think my family is doomed"? Nathan also said he needs to rethink the future of this family.
Wait a second. The wedding is canceled and the family is falling apart? Does this mean I'm in serious trouble here?
You'll have to see for yourself. Nathan said it's easier to handle things without you around, so he'll explain everything to you later.
No, this is being blown way out of proportion. It was an accident.
What? What do you mean by that?
I mean, this is all just a misunderstanding that caused some trouble, right? Canceling the wedding over a simple fall? This is all being blown way out of proportion. Oh, I get it now. This is a surprise, isn't it? You're probably waiting nearby, watching me panic and getting a kick out of it, right? But this is too much. Taking a joke this far is practically criminal. Come on, just come out now. I've had enough of this childish surprise. Let's end it here.
Hey, I think that's a bit of a stretch, don't you?
Be quiet. You're the one in the wrong here, so stop acting all high and mighty. I'm the victim here. You pay for this and I'll make sure of it. Penelope, have you made it home yet?
Yeah, I just got back. I really appreciate you coming with me to the hospital.
I was worried it might have been a fracture, but I'm glad it turned out to be just a sprain. Still, are you sure? You could have come back to my place for today, you know.
It's fine. I want to hear what Nathan has to say too. I'm sure he's feeling pretty down because of his mom's behavior.
Yeah, about Eliana. It looks like she's been up to some things behind our backs.
What? What do you mean? What happened?
She posted anonymously about my workplace online. She called it a bunch of liars and a fake charity organization. And she specifically targeted me with personal insults. Based on the timing, I'm sure it was her.
Wait a minute. How did it even get to this point?
Who knows? I have no idea. She insulted both you and my work. And even after hearing the truth from her husband, she still went and did something like this.
I'm starting to feel a bit sorry for Nathan. When I listen to what he says, it seems like after his parents got married, Eliana's true colors started showing more and more. But apparently, nowadays, custody tends to go to the mother if there's a divorce. So thinking about the risks, societal expectations, and other factors, I guess his father decided not to go through with a divorce.
I see. Maybe it's because of his experience with being homeless. He's gotten used to weighing risks carefully. But this time, I don't think he'll stay quiet. And honestly, I've had enough too. For me, the happiness of my daughter and the partner she chose comes first.
But this is our issue. I don't want to drag you into it.
What are you talking about? As a mother myself, there's no way I can tolerate this. We're going to make sure Eliana learns her lesson.
Well, hearing you say that is actually kind of reassuring.
Naomi, I'm so disappointed in you. All that talk about supporting the homeless and community outreach, it's all just pretty words. I'm not falling for it.
What do you mean by that?
Don't play dumb. I saw the posts on social media. I can't believe you do something like that. I'm truly shocked. And when I looked into it, I found out that the head of our local community board was planning to partner with your nonprofit organization on a community outreach program. But with such a shady organization, there's no way it can be trusted. I advised him to reconsider.
So, you believe everything you read in an anonymous post?
Of course. Someone had the courage to speak out after all. I knew I was right not to trust you or your daughter. It's my responsibility to protect both my neighborhood association and my family.
Oh, about that anonymous post, I've already filed a request for information disclosure.
What? Information disclosure?
Eliana,
don't you want to know who had the courage to write something like that?
Oh, but let's say, just hypothetically, if it turns out that you're the one who posted it, I'll be filing a lawsuit for defamation.
What? Wait a minute. There's no need to take it that far and investigate everything, is there?
That's not for you to decide, because if you spread false rumors about me to damage my reputation, just to justify canceling your son and Penelope's wedding, and to regain trust from your family, don't you think that would be unacceptable? But if you genuinely care about protecting your family and the local community, then you wouldn't stoop to using such underhanded tactics to protect yourself, would you?
Well, but wouldn't that be a bit troublesome for you too? I mean, lawsuits cost money, don't they?
Oh, but if you're honest with me, I won't press charges.
What is with you? You're so annoying. Do you think you're in some sort of position of power here? Fine. Yes, I posted it. It's because of you and your daughter that I've lost the trust of my husband and my son. Even my relatives look at me with disdain. I have no place left to belong. So the least you could do is help me restore my reputation, you miserable pauper.
You injured my daughter, and now you're saying something this absurd? Don't mess with me. Do you even understand what you've done? You ruined the wedding that my daughter had been planning and looking forward to for so long. You hurt her both emotionally and physically, trampling all over her feelings. And now you're saying you're not to blame? Are you serious?
Of course I'm serious. I haven't done anything wrong. If I had been properly informed, I would have acted differently.
So, you're saying you didn't do anything wrong and didn't say anything wrong?
Exactly. It's the fault of people who do things that make them misunderstood.
I see. So you have absolutely no intention of reflecting on your actions then. All right then. You'll need to pay for the wedding expenses, compensation for injuring my daughter, and damages for the defamation you posted on social media.
What? What are you talking about?
I'm simply exercising my right to seek compensation. And yes, I'll need you to pay it all in a lump sum.
You're the ones who decided to cancel the wedding. I told Penelope multiple times to come back.
But the reason the wedding was canceled was because of your actions. And I've already spoken to your family about this, and they've agreed.
You said you wouldn't file a defamation lawsuit.
I'll settle this out of court, but I'm still going to bill you for the damages.
So it's all about the money, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's about ensuring you take responsibility in the way that's clear and fair.
It's easy to talk big, isn't it? This is exactly why poor people are so insufferable. No big deal. It's only a couple of tens of thousands, right? I'll pay it. My family is wealthy, so it won't hurt me in the slightest. If throwing money at the problem solves it, I'll pay as much as you want. Naomi, please, forget what I said yesterday.
Excuse me?
You said we'd settle this out of court, but I can't pay the money after all.
Oh? You just said you'd pay anything without a problem.
No, please drop the claim for money. I'll apologize as much as you want, but please, no money.
Wow, that's quite a change of heart.
Well, my husband somehow found out about the social media post, and he's furious. I was planning to spread rumors about your nonprofit through the neighborhood association, but it's become gossip in the neighborhood instead, and my husband overheard it while taking out the trash. I thought he'd forgive me if I apologized, but he said he wants a divorce.
That sounds rough.
Don't act like it's not a big deal. It's a disaster. When I met my husband, he was already successful and wealthy. There were so many women who tried to approach him just for his money. So when we got married, we signed a contract. It says that in the event of a divorce, there will be no division of assets.
Oh, I've heard of people who think that even if they get divorced due to cheating, they'll get a chunk of the assets as part of the settlement. It's not uncommon. So essentially, if you get divorced, you'll end up with almost nothing.
Exactly! And now even my son is abandoning me. Since he's an adult, custody isn't an issue anymore, so my husband doesn't feel the need to hesitate. My relatives are cold toward me, and no one in the neighborhood is returning my calls. What am I supposed to do?
Well, why don't you get a job and earn money yourself? But you'll still need to pay the compensation in a lump sum. You could ask acquaintances for help, maybe borrow money or have them cover it temporarily.
Are you telling me to beg for money so I can pay you?
Then how about filing for bankruptcy? Or perhaps taking out a loan?
That's impossible. My life would be over.
Then do your best. It'll be tough, especially since you've been a housewife this whole time. But being homeless is even harder, isn't it? Homeless people are just the bottom of society, a burden. Helping them isn't worth it. That's what you told my daughter, didn't you? Surely you wouldn't want to become one of those burdens yourself.
Of course not. I was the glamorous wife of a CEO.
But you know, life is unpredictable. Sometimes a single unexpected problem can turn your entire life upside down. But giving up because of that would be such a waste. That's why we're here. So, if you ever find yourself in need of help, please feel free to use our services. We're always here for you, Eliana, the former CEO's wife.
No, I don't want that. Help me. Please, I've already learned my lesson. I'm sorry. I said I'm sorry. Why? Why did it come to this?
Penelope, how's your leg feeling?
It's a lot better now. I can walk normally again.
I'm glad to hear that. By the way, since the wedding was suddenly canceled, have you and Nathan talked about what to do next?
Yeah, we've decided to reschedule the wedding for next year. It'll be a bit smaller in scale, but we both agreed we want to do it as soon as possible.
Got it. When the time comes, I'll make sure to attend. And this time, let me see you in your wedding dress.
I'm sorry about the wedding. You were really looking forward to it.
No, it's my fault for not properly explaining things beforehand. Maybe Eliana was right. Perhaps I do tend to cause misunderstandings.
That's not true. Your work is admirable. You've told me before about my uncle who passed away from illness. He lost his job and felt too ashamed to tell his family, so he spent several years as a homeless man before he got sick.
That's right. My brother was such a hardworking and responsible person. He gave his all to his job and cared deeply about his family. But the company he worked for struggled during the recession, and their worsening finances led to layoffs.
So, he was laid off because of the company's poor performance, not because of anything he did wrong.
Exactly.
He didn't do anything wrong, but as the head of the household, he just couldn't bring himself to tell the family that he'd lost his job. At first, he tried to make ends meet by using his savings, but eventually the money ran out.
And that's when he left home and became homeless.
Yes, he didn't want to burden the family, so he left. He ended up sleeping in parks and by the riverside while looking for temporary day labor jobs. But due to his age and declining physical strength, it became harder and harder for him to find work.
I can't believe he lived like that for years. Why didn't he ask anyone for help?
He was a proud man. To him, it was better to handle it on his own than to cause trouble for the family. But as life got harder, he couldn't even get enough to eat.
And that's when he got sick?
Yes. His health gradually declined and he eventually developed a lung disease. By the time I found him, the disease had already progressed and it was too late for treatment.
How did you end up finding him?
It was pure coincidence. While volunteering for a food distribution event through the nonprofit, I suddenly saw him standing in the line. When I called out to him, he was shocked and tried to run away, but I chased after him and made him tell me everything.
Did you bring him back home after that?
No, I took him straight to the hospital. The doctor just said if he had only come in earlier.
Even so, in the end, your family was able to be there for him in his final moments.
Yes, that was the only comfort I had. But even now, I still regret not being able to save my brother.
It's that regret that led me to choose this line of work, and thanks to that, you could support Nathan's father, which eventually brought Nathan and me together. I'm so proud of you, Mom.
Penelope, thank you. I'm proud of you too with all my heart. I'm really looking forward to your wedding next year.
I demanded compensation from Eliana for the wedding expenses and damages. Eliana, who had been a housewife with no savings, begged me to allow her to pay in installments, but I firmly refused. Desperate, she tried borrowing money from relatives and acquaintances, begging everyone she knew. However, no one was willing to help her. In the end, she had no choice but to take out a loan from a high-interest payday lender. Realizing she couldn't repay the debt on her own, she begged her husband to call off the divorce, but he flatly refused. Left with no options, she had a relative help her to find a job at a factory, where she started working from morning to night to pay back her debts little by little each month. However, with no real experience in the workforce, she struggled to learn the job and frequently clashed with her boss and coworkers. Eventually, she was fired from the factory. I'm not sure what she's doing now, but she probably has no place to live and is living as a homeless person. After years of looking down on and mocking the homeless, I'm sure she's now deeply regretting her past behavior. As for me, Nathan and I have started planning for our next wedding. I thought he might be upset about his parents divorcing because of our marriage, but he said he's actually relieved to have cut ties with his arrogant mother. His father is also looking forward to the wedding. I'm excited to move forward and live my life, surrounded by a supportive and trustworthy family.
Thank you for watching. Please rate the video and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.